carnivore? Carnivore side, so then they don't go to the bathroom like just once a week because then they don't have material to poop or something. So I would like to know how to approach that specifically. Thank you.
Yeah, everyone has their own lifestyles that they choose to live, and I would say that I am not a firm believer in that carnivore lifestyle. Fiber is a critical part. In fact, all meta studies are studies of studies. They're at the pinnacle of our confidence in the scientific community. Numerous meta studies have shown the power of fiber, everything from regulating blood sugar levels to controlling our appetite, to facilitating healthy bowel movements, to lowering the risk of colorectal cancer. And I don't think it's by chance that we have seen, as these non-fiber diets have increased in popularity, there has also been an increase in that same population of cancers. And so I think it's important that we take a holistic approach when it comes to our diet. And I might be a little bit biased with my last name, but I do believe, right, that eating a diet full of bacon versus one that contains fruits and vegetables, one just feels a heck of a lot healthier than the other. So, all right.
Paula Snow-Keogh from Newfoundland, Canada. My question is, I only got to experience a week of the cleanse because I'd been to Vancouver, been able to bring home a sample while mine was on delivery. But I followed the rules. I did, my first day, my second day, my third day, I forgot to take it before supper, so I took it afterwards. And I had a really bad night of cramping, uncomfortableness, and, up, like awake and stuff. So I did the rest properly. I lost 3.5 pounds. And I'm very excited for what more can happen in the future. But that night, should I have just not bothered to take it?
No. Well, it's either a nail or Velcro. So just grab hold. I will not be doing any 360s in front of this group. So it was proper to take it. And really what that discomfort was largely, most likely, a gas sensation. Especially after taking it with dinner, you're amplifying those bacteria, and they went through an amazing growth cycle. And so, in many ways, that can be a little discomforting. A little hack that can kind of help individuals. Peppermint essential oils actually help. It's really good to kind of calm a little bit of that bloating. So put a few drops in some water and drink that. It can help kind of alleviate some of the bloating symptoms that people may have.
Okay.
Yep. You don't need any fancy kind either. You just go get the Walmart kind.
What do you do with the peppermint oil?
Just put a couple of drops in the water and drink it.
Okay.
Brittany Johnson from Nashville, Tennessee. So this is going to be great for my sister. She goes days on end without anything moving. Would it be for someone, or how do we talk to someone like me who is regular and would say, I don't have poo-poo problems?
So
is this for everyone, and how do we talk to people that are like, well, I'm good on that?
Yeah, because it's usually like the poo-poo problem is a great end product to help us know we are making a difference. But the benefits go well beyond that, of kind of nourishing our gut flora. Right? Fiber helps with everything from modulating the rate at which sugar is absorbed into our body to helping, it's one of the better things you can do for cholesterol as well, right? So this is something that, as I said before, about only 20% is what we are hitting on average of our daily intake. And so it's something that we all need. Some people who may not need bathroom assistance, there's still benefits that they can benefit from this.
Cindy Greenwood from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm just wondering how you would incorporate Restorex in there as well, and is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, Restorex is a good thing. So think of this as cleaning out the highway. Restorex works much more at that kind of the cellular level. In fact, Restorex, to give you a little bit of an example of the mechanism by which Restorex works, is Restorex really prevents the absorption of toxins rather than the removal. That's the primary mechanism. And so what it does is a lot of those toxins can easily pass into our gut area. But with Restorex, charcoal, one of the activated charcoal, primary component, is it will absorb those toxins, and that chocolate is not absorbed. And so then it carries it through that digestive system. So Restorex is a great way and a great complement to this product as well, because this is making sure traffic flows smoothly. Restorex is a great way to making sure that those toxins never get out of the tube between our mouth and the toilet and into our body.
Hi, Cindy Sickles from Arizona. I just had a male client text me, approximately 40 years old, that obviously has issues, and he said I had to
I
stop
think
it.
all 40-year-old men have issues.
Anyways, his text was, I had unusual cramping and I stopped. So based on the conversation you had with us earlier about peristalsis, is that more that or the gas, or what would you recommend sharing with him because he stopped?
Yeah, and those are, I think, challenges that you could imagine if you're a physical trainer and your arm's sore the next day, that you can look at saying, okay, hey, maybe we try a little bit of a half dose and work through this to kind of bring you up to speed at a little bit more of a level that accommodates your sensitive issues, 40-year-old man. And then call him a snowflake.
Dr. Blatt, thank you so much. I'm Amy Rickman from Colorado Springs, and I just had a question. Has this been tested with Sugar Stop? Because using it occasionally, would you recommend doing those two together? And how do they work, together?
Yeah, absolutely, they can be used together. The mechanisms of which they work are fairly similar, but you can't eat too much of a good thing in this situation. And so you're able to do both. And the primary mechanism of Sugar Stop, it utilizes a fiber backbone, but the other component in it is it has like an amylase, and this is getting really technical, but it's a compound that prevents an enzyme working in your body to break down sucrose. Sucrose is sugar, but it's a combo. It's called a dimer. It's two monosaccharides put together. It's a disaccharide. And so we can't absorb sucrose by itself. What we have is an enzyme that breaks that apart, and we absorb the glucose, the individual monomers. And so what that does is it prevents that enzyme from breaking the sugar apart, and so you don't absorb that sugar. And so Sugar Stop has a great benefit of assisting in that. It also utilizes some of the mechanisms of fiber to slow down the rate at which sugar is absorbed. But this product is designed more, the type of fiber that is used, as well as the ginger and other components, is designed more to assist in the digestive system.
Sandy Herbert, Nashville, Tennessee. She mentioned her sister who has a lot of problems, but so does her 6-year-old son. Can he have a couple sips of it too?
Yeah, so I think in this situation we recommend 18 plus.
18 years?
18 years, yeah. And I always default, in those situations it's most likely based upon the type of insurance we have, right, how we market the product. We live in a very regulated world, and so yeah, I think on the packaging it's 18 plus.
Summer Sounds, Alabama. Can you OD on plus? like we were saying, so Katie, I told her it tasted good, we can take up to 2 per day, which means we're gonna have extra plus. Can you take it more frequently, or do you just waste those packs?
Yeah, so you don't want to take it too frequently because the body is a wonderful thing that loves to adapt. And really what it is if you use it too frequently or at too high of an amount, your body will adapt to it, which then means you then need to stimulate it greater to then get that same result. It's the same reason why you always need to be adding more weight if you want to increase muscle. Your body adapts to the muscle you're lifting, and if you want to get more muscle, you have to add more weight because it's adapted to that. And that's the same way. And so we really designed it so that you could have a regular experience without doing it too often and adapt to your body.
Dr. Plant, so someone might ask this, but so if you do Core Cleanse Plus once a week for, let's say, 12 weeks, do you need to stop, or are you fine doing it once a week? We don't have, I don't think we have a clear recommendation on that right now.
And the reason we don't have a clear recommendation is mainly because it is going to be largely up to you. In that situation, if you find that the results are kind of tapering down and you're not getting the same effect, I would go off of it for a month and then start back up again. Somebody said the definition of happiness is to be able to progress. I think that was John that said that, right? My definition of life is that it's able to adapt. And so you want to put your life in a position to where it's always in a position to adapt, which means in that situation, if you're finding, I'm not getting the same effect, go off for a month and then go back on. I do this routinely with nearly all of my supplements because my body will adapt. And so all of a sudden, after my 8th Starbucks, I'm like, it's not working anymore. Just go a week without any caffeine, and then all of a sudden I'm only spending $4 at Starbucks a day again, right? And you become more sensitive to that caffeine quickly.
Wanda Chavis, North Carolina. I have 2 questions. One is, if somebody takes it and they don't notice anything different, is that good or bad? If they are having regular beings anyway? My second question is, my 95-year-old mother really needs this, but she read something on it about choking. She has a hiatal hernia, and she thinks it's going to clog up in there, and she's not going to be able to breathe. I don't know. I need to be able to tell her if she can take it or not.
There's something on there with choking.
It says if you can choke if you don't have.
Based upon the fiber being yes. No, it should be fine. With the choking. Yeah. So it can make if it's left too long, it can make a gelatinous type component, right? Because that's actually fiber. It will form a little bit of gelatinous material in your digestive system. So just have her drink it immediately to avoid that.
It gels in the cup, not in your body, right?
You want it to gel in your digestive system, not in your throat.
Yeah.
Is the big things. And what was the other part of that question?
If they're not really seeing it.
Oh, yeah. And so in those situations, right, that really what that means is, imagine, again, utilizing this, thinking of it like fertilizer for your lawn. You want a nice, thick, healthy green lawn to prevent weeds from growing. And a lot of people have lived a lifestyle where that lawn is good. So when they put the fertilizer down, that bacteria isn't going to go from 1 billion to 2 billion per se. And so that's a sign, a good sign for them, right? That they've largely been nourishing it already. And I really want to make sure that we all understand, here at Partnerco, we create wonderful products, amazing products. But the first word there is very important. They're supplements. They're not replacements. Nothing will ever replace a healthy lifestyle. And so in that situation when people, if I ever come out with a pill that says, hey, you never need to exercise again, you just take this instead, like that's a problem, right? Hey, you never need to eat healthy again, just take this instead. No, we're here to supplement somebody who eats healthy and exercises. And so in that situation, they may be already eating healthy, that's great, and it can only add greater benefit. But they may not see the drastic results a lot of others do.
Hi, I'm Billy from Alberta. I'm just curious from a product perspective, if we were to design, you can't name the drops, and you do have the core cleanse in the pack, but if we had to pick 2 other products for like ultimate gut health, what would you put in that pack?
Wait, say that there was a lot of asterisks there.
So, you can't say the drops.
Okay.
And obviously the core cleanse is in this, but if somebody comes to you and they say, I have like the worst gut in the world, what products, what's your other go-to, but they can't buy everything we have. They've got, what would be your picks to start them with?
It'd be Max 2O and probiotic.
Perfect.
And the product formerly known as the drops.
Haley Lee from Nashville. So one of the questions that I've been asked previously to Core Cleanse, but also since it's been pre-launched, can it be considered a parasite cleanse since it's getting rid of all the things?
Not necessarily, right? So a parasite cleanse is actually, people who do parasite cleanse, it's actually a very powerful toxin that you actually put inside your body. And really it's a way of saying, hey, poison the parasite before it overly poisons me, right? But the body has a great way of removing a lot of parasites already. And so it's a matter of, if you can keep that digestive system moving as fast as possible, regular as possible, it doesn't allow those parasites as much time to harbor. So parasitic cleanses are, the ones that I have seen are very dangerous, by the way. I would definitely recommend consulting your health professional on those ones. But this is, I would say, it limits the likelihood of a need of a parasitic cleanse.
That's a good way of saying that.
Hi, it's Mary from Alberta. Is this a product that you would recommend to somebody that has colitis or similar issues?
So that's a tough one to answer, right? I would recommend that they contact their physician. The 5 is most likely a really good product for them. The 2 might be tough for them in those situations. And so whenever there's specific health inquiries like that, I just recommend consulting their health physician.
I'm Marion from Bozeman, Montana. First question, I've got 2 parts. First question, my daughter-in-law the last 2 days, the 6 and 7, got extreme nausea. And then my question, I think it was expectation for me because I started it and expected at least once a day. And I honestly didn't go for 4 days. And then the 6th and 7th day, it was just like once.
Yeah, and that's, I want to reiterate, the 5 is a great way. It's not necessarily designed to initiate too many responses. People may, because you're going to get a little bit more peristaltic movement through your digestive system. But the real mover in that moment is going to be where you're pulling water into the colon. And that initiates that response. And for somebody who might feel a little nausea, that's, I think many of us have the kind of experience when you need to go to the bathroom pretty bad, it kind of can initiate a little bit of a nausea response. But yeah, that's something that they could look at with that. But to me, that would be a good response. If you're like, hey, I went normal over the first 5 days and then it happened on 6 and 7, I would say that's actually will be a fairly common response for people.
Yeah, I didn't go normal. It was the opposite. I was like 4 days in and it hadn't gone at all.
Yeah, so in that situation, likely what's happening is you're experiencing some tremendous bacterial growth to where your body is really doing some great adjustments. So, yeah.
Hi, Allison from Bentonville, Arkansas. A 2-part. When you were talking a little bit ago about Restorex, were you talking about okay to take together as in, or mixing?
Yeah.
Is it okay to mix the core cleanse with?
Yep, you're absolutely fine. I take that back. No, sorry. The one product that you never want to mix with another product is Restorex. Because that activated charcoal, you want to make sure it binds to different toxins that are inside the stomach. You can take them simultaneously, but don't mix them, right? Because you don't want that charcoal to be bound before it even enters into your body.
So only with water on the Restorex. Okay. And then the day of day 7, I missed the memo and I ate in the morning. And I saw a video and they said try not to eat till noon. I was one of those that literally stayed home for 12 hours. I had the really, really explosive movements. Was that because I ate in the morning?
It could have been partly that. I think also what can also be is, as people adjust to this, we formulate this for the mass population, right? But the population is a giant bell curve, and you're going to find people that are more sensitive and less sensitive. And so we try to make it as accommodating for as many people as possible. But going forward, you might say, hey, I actually only need a half of a sachet because, taking a full one, I'm very sensitive.
My name is Queenie Pan from North Carolina. So I know there's a prebiotics fibers in Pure Nourish. Should we take this core cleanse together with Pure Nourish or separate?
Yep, you can take it with it. Absolutely fine to take with it.
So let's say I have a very good bowel movement twice a day. So if I take those products, should I stop the 6 and 7 or just take it to see what happens?
So if I understand you correctly, you were saying you have good bowel movements already.
Very good bowel movements, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think in this situation, again, this is something that even though we're talking a lot about bowel movements because that's kind of the end of the road proof in the pudding, so to speak, we're all needing this in a variety of other ways, right? The components in there help regulate blood sugar, help control appetite, help modulate cholesterol absorption. In fact, the American Heart Association says it's probably one of the best things you can do, fiber, to increase or decrease the amount of cholesterol. I think it's something that really everyone should be taking, at least the 5 component.
Dr. John Jacobson, Nebraska. You talked earlier in your lecture about the immune system as well as neurotransmitters being. Can you kind of expand a little bit on that, that this product is not necessarily just for pooping, but it's also for the person that could have some brain fog, those kind of things?
Yeah, so our gut, it's, people refer to it as the second brain. And I've had teenage boys, and I think it's their first brain. Tied for their first brain with another thing that's not appropriate. But in that situation, the situation is, again, let's use the analogy of a lawn. And what happens is, because if our lawn is very thick in our stomach of good bacteria, it doesn't allow a weed to take root. And if we have patches in that lawn, dirt patches, it allows a weed to germinate much easier. And that weed could be a bad bacteria. And so when they talk about 70% of our immune system living in our gut, it's because those bacteria actually fight off the bad bacteria for us before our immune system ever really comes into contact. And so it is our first line of defense. Like when you think about how much bacteria we consume on a regular basis, from the food we eat to our hands, or even our mouth is full of bacteria, and a lot of them aren't good, what is preventing those bacteria from propagating in our body is largely our existing bacteria. And those existing bacteria, just to put it into perspective, outnumber our human cells 10 to 1. So if our body was to vote, it would overwhelmingly vote bacteria versus human cells. And so those bacteria, not only is it a thick lawn that it doesn't allow the bad bacteria to take root, they actually also secrete compounds that kill a lot of the bad bacteria. And so they're secreting kind of weed killers of the bad bacteria as well. So that is something that's really, really important for us. Additionally, that gut, it's very much tied, the nerves in the gut are very much tied to the brain. Case in point, as I said earlier, when you're nervous, your stomach rattles, right? Or for some people, you become exceptionally constipated, right? And you're in a different environment, you become very constipated. But they are very much connected. In fact, your GLP-1, everyone makes natural GLP-1s, by the way, and the colon. That GLP-1 is a signal that comes through the brain into our colon to certain cells to excrete that GLP-1. And the way in which that happens is as soon as food hits our mouth, our brain says, "Ooh, make some GLP-1," and sends the signal to the colon. So they're very much intact in that communication pathway. Very much through our autonomous nervous system, that fight or flight response, or the rest and digest. And so if we have that healthy bacteria, it allows us to engage better in that rest and digest moments. We find ourselves less anxious. Your body only digests in a moment of rest, right? Your body's not wanting to digest if you're in a moment of fight or flight. That would be an awkward moment if you're in a little road rage incident and you're like, "Oh, I gotta pull over, hun," right? Your body actually sets its digestion down in those fight or flight situations. And so if we can get that nervous system under control, which is why this is so important to accompany the drops, as well as nourishing that bacteria, it is a powerful remedy of helping it improve mental health and a variety of other things.
Hi, Rishta Adair, Canadian living in Manzanillo, Mexico. Thank you, Dr. Plant, for all your time. It's amazing. So this is my question. We have several great products for weight loss. The drops, Core Cleanse, Advantage, Sugar Stop, Pure Nourish, Max 2O. What would be your step-by-step when you're approaching someone who would like to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, starting with the first product?
Yeah, and I'm going to just play a little semantics with you. I don't think we have great products, plural, for weight loss. We have a great system, a single system. And the system, if we think back, there are 4 behaviors that accompany all health, right? Can you guys think of what those behaviors would be? I bet you can. Every second grader has them. If I was to say what makes you healthy, what would you say?
Sleep, water, movement, food.
All right, pretty good. Yeah. What we put in our mouths, how we move, how we sleep, and then the other one, how we, in essence, are we living a stressful life. So when we talk about, hey, our hormones are out of whack, why do you think our hormones are out of whack? Stress, or maybe it's the foods we're eating, or maybe we're not exercising. But everything kind of leads back to those 4 core behaviors. And so the partner co-weight loss system is simple. We are there to support those key behaviors. And the weight loss system is 1, let's help with stress. Stress is a common denominator with causing a lot of individuals with respect to how much they're eating, when they feel full, how their nutrients are being absorbed. And so that's why the drops are it's balancing those hormones, because now they're better responding to stress. Why have people seen such tremendous success? It's because it's supplementing that behavior of regulating that stress. Now, accompanying that with the nutritional aspect that we offer, the nutritional aspect of the Advantage, or the Sugar Stop, or the Core Cleanse, is a great way to accompany that. And so I would say the drops plus Core Cleanse, Advantage, Sugar Stop, is a very, very powerful weight loss system. Those are not 4 options to the same solution. That's the equivalent of me saying, hey, you're looking to lose weight, eat as much as you want, we're just gonna exercise. Not gonna work, right? You have to take a holistic approach. And so that's why I think like our system is simply drops, Advantage, Sugar Stop, and Core Cleanse. Yep. Is that time?
Time for like 2 more questions, if anyone has any final questions.
Well, look at that.
Okay, we've got one up here.
This is Gurdeep from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So if we are taking Sugar Stop with the Core Cleanse, what's the best time to take Sugar Stop? Because Core Cleanse we are taking before the heavy meal, right? And I want to know, like, I just took for 5 days and 6 days. My son have a tournament, so I have to drop it, my Core Cleanse. So how I will take supper time or the lunchtime?
The Core Cleanse or Sugar Stop?
Core Cleanse, and I want to know if I'm taking all together.
Yeah.
So what's the best time?
Yep, in the evening is the best time.
For both?
For both, yep.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
I don't have a mic. That was kind of going to be my question. Is on.
That is confident. You do not need a mic.
Oh. On the package, it says half hour before meal. But I've heard you say 1 hour before bed might be nice as well for Core Cleanse.
Oh, yes. So that's a really good question. And this is where I need to be careful. Because in that scenario, about a half hour before the meal for the day 5. Very important. Now, the reason that I say with about an hour before bed is it takes about 8 to 9 hours for it to kick in. So if somebody takes the 2 Core Cleanse Plus too early, all of a sudden that moment may happen at 3 in the morning versus 6 in the morning. And trust me, you won't sleep through it. Which is why we do not want to impact one of those key behaviors that are very important for us, good night's sleep. So that's why I don't usually say that. But you'll find everybody's body responds a little bit differently to that time, but that's the key thing. Is you want it to be when you normally wake up. Some people it might take 10 hours, but you can take it earlier. Some people it's like, 8 hours, take it closer to when you go to bed.
With the 5 days?
Yep, you want to take that right from me.
Oops. Dr. Plant, on the package it says hot or cold, but I've heard on a video that it's only cold or room temperature.
Yeah, hot, cold, and room, all good.
Okay.
I have another question. So before Core Cleanse, I had some clients that had chronic constipation, so I was recommending Sugar Stop as a fiber supplement. But what would be the ideal, like I know now that it's 3 months with Core Cleanse, so how would be someone has chronic constipation, what would be the right plan for the start, the cleanse, and then follow up with the Should they continue to take the sugar stop as a supplement and then probiotics? What will be, or magnesium D will be kind of the best plan?
Yeah, so something like that is, I recommend one, and it sounds repetitive, but again, I want you to realize just how closely tied your digestive system is to your emotional environment, right? So drops are going to be very critical because we're wanting to have the body better respond to stress. Again, there's a reason why your body in our show shuts down when it goes camping is because that's a different environment, it's a stressful environment, and so it slows everything down. Fight or flight does not allow the rest of digestion to occur. So the drops is going to be very critical to make sure that we go from the parasympathetic to the sympathetic pathway to allow that rest and digest to occur. Now, in addition to that, the core cleanse is a great thing that delivers a very obvious response to it. But I also want to reiterate that core cleanse, we're really wanting to ensure people are getting not only hydration, but the electrolytes that are important for the migration of that hydration throughout our body. So Max 2O is also great accompaniment of that.
Okay, I think that's it.
All right.
Questions? Thank you so much.